Hey, good morning to you. It is Tuesday the 2nd. No, today's the 3rd, isn't it? Today's the 3rd. 3rd of January. Times are going by quickly. Hey, if you have not done so, please like, follow, share, subscribe to Smash Bros Radio. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook as well as Instagram. We would appreciate it. Also, tell your relatives and friends, and then also those you really don't give a happy God about, please tell them to do this thing. From the Smash Bros. Radio family, we like to send out prayers, thoughts, and hugs to Damar, Hamlin's family, and also prayers to T. Higgins, as well as the Buffalo Bills and the Cincinnati Bengals. Um, it was all a shock. It was all unexpected, and so this is the current, or the what has transpired on the field is going to be riveting for everyone that was involved. I cannot imagine what it was like for um, Dahmer's mom to have to rush out of the stands and onto the field and watch her son laid out. Uh, when we are at a certain age, we think that we are invincible. We think that we're going to live forever. We have this mindset, and that's what it's all about. Is that we're young and we don't think that anything can happen to us, and the societal uh, ideals are that, well, these are young people, they're going to live forever, and they're not going to have heart attacks, and not we don't know. We really don't know when time is going to be for us. We really don't know. uh, I've always questioned, uh, when is it too early for to start playing football. What is too early? uh, I, I have several former students who are coaches, and they are fantastic coaches. They are fantastic, but as many of those coaches who are conscientious of their players, there are some that are not as focused or as genuine when it comes to their players. Um, I wonder if the equipment that the younger generation are utilizing, or the equipment up to date with the padding. Um, in the here recent, and I guess in the last 15 years, uh, there have been research done that with all this collision, all this tackling, that it does something to the brain, because the impact, the force of the impact, that it does something to the body, it does something to the brain. Now, if this can occur when it comes to adults, uh, it seems that it would be logical and common sense to know that uh, the danger is there when it comes to the younger ones. Uh, so when is it too young for you to start having your child get active in the sports, especially when it comes to these combat sports? Um, it's really frightening, and we know that there are examples of dads who, for whatever reason, and I'm not being judgmental, believe it or not, I am not. I just would like to have a better understanding when it comes to the participation part, that you have fathers who live through their sons, and they push their sons to play uh, this game, and they tried to live through their sons. And because they were mediocre players themselves, so they pushed their sons. So my main contention, my main opinion is that, likewise, there have been research done that to provide more protection, to provide more of less of consequences when it comes to impact that yoga or ballet is a good extra activity, because yoga and ballet uh, teaches the individuals how to breathe. And anyone who is into weightlifting or lifting weights know that for you to get the optimum results, you have to understand the breathing part, the breathing process. When you doing the bench press, when do you breathe? When do you inhale, and when do you exhale? So if you are not up on the mythology of how to receive or how to get the maximum or the optimum uh, effect, well, then you might as well not be doing it at all. So likewise, if I were to be a father and my son or daughter wish to be a part of a sport that is more combated, yoga or ballet would be, if not both, would be an added addition to the schedule. So that way I know that there would be less of an impact when it comes to their bodies as they grow. Also, I understand that most of the coaches uh, that are on these little league teams, they were athletes themselves, and that's all well and good. Likewise, if I were to have a child that was an athlete, I would get in touch with individuals such as Gino Reeser, and I don't know what his formal title is, but Gino is what I classified as a conditioning coach. He has gone through schooling and has received certificates as well as degrees. In that he, I was what Gino would do would to set up an appointment, a consultation, and he would ask certain questions to get a better understanding of exactly what, as a parent, you are looking for. Gino has been has experience in that. He can pretty much go from the consultation, and he can develop and create an individual program for your child. At the same time, he is realistic in letting the parent know that your expectations might be a little somewhat aggressive, because what you are expecting your child to, the level that you wish your child to go to, may not be possible. So there are going to be where there's going to be times to where there are certain requirements and certain exercises and certain procedures that your child would have to do to get the maximum of what you're expecting. So if I were responsible for uh, a child getting involved in sports, I would have an added padding, an added protection, an added understanding of exactly what's what. Uh, there's a concern that I have that when you start a child so young, are there any research out there that once that child has reached from adolescence to teenage, is there going to be some type of disability, whether it's minute or what? Is there going to be some type of cause and effect? So, what has transpired during the Bills and the Bengals, it brings a lot of questions to mind. Uh, Damar was 24 years old, and he tackled an individual, and the tackle came at a most inopportune time, that when it impacted the chest. It did something to the heart. And so there is a concern that I have uh, about maybe some things need to be more investigated, more researched as to what. Uh, because at 24, you would never expect an individual to have collapsed. And now, if there is any recovery, at what type of recovery? Because I think it's after 6 minutes or 6 seconds that if there's no oxygen to the brain, then all of a sudden there is some type of deterioration of the cells. And I think that he was blacked out more than uh, the duration that is stated. So, but this is going to affect the entire uh, Bengals and Bulls. And then what is more alarming and somewhat disgusting is when you have these overly priced sports announcers or sports analysts having the audacity to say that, well, that's in their contract. They might as well get over it and get. Uh, you have lost contact of reality. So, and plus two, I would wager you really don't know what is actually in their contract. And then to find out that it was the players and the coaches who refused to continue to play, that brings into point the plantation mentality. And when you know that, if I remember correctly, and I hope that my stats are correct, when 70% of the players are black and they are treated in the way that they are, or mistreated in the way they are by these white plantation owners, it causes one to pause that when you have 70% of actual players that are black, what type of power? Now, from what I understand, the players do have a union. So it all comes down to exactly what eventually we're going to be talking about. There are two Americas. You have a black America and you have a white America. And the mentality and the ideology of some of these owners are pathetic. But that's the world that's the world that we live in. So again, from the Smash Bros Radio family, our prayers go out to Hamlin's family, as well as to the Cincinnati Bengals and the Bills. So we have you in your prayers that a full recovery will be a transition, that 24-year-old will be okay. And so, but I think that it should take some of us time to pause and to step back and to look to see exactly if we have a solution or are we the actual problem. So, again, our hearts go out to everyone that was involved. So now, again, if you have not done so, please like, share, follow, subscribe to Smash Bros Radio. Again, you can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook as well as Instagram. Please like, share, and follow. Subscribe. We will appreciate you deeply. Also, Smash Bros Radio is the only digital award-winning radio station in Birmingham, Jefferson County. We focus and we support and we promote independent artists. That's what we are here for. We provide the platform, we provide the avenue, we provide a way of getting the music out there. So if you are an independent artist, if you are a manager of an independent artist, give us a call. We would like to have you on our shows. and we would like to be able to give you the springboard that we can provide. Also, if you have not done so, please download the Smash Bros Radio app. Uh, Take us with you. You will be pleasantly surprised that we have a fantastic app. So if you have not done so, please download the Smash Bros Radio app. You can hear the interviews that were from the past, and keep in mind that because we are a digital radio station, we are national, we are international. You do not know who is listening or who is paying attention. So, and you never know. While you're on, people will see you, people can hear you, people can listen to what you have produced, what you have created, and you never know. There have been several or some, to be conservative, artists that have used Smash Bros. Radio as a springboard, and they are doing quite well. Unfortunately, as when someone has received a certain level of what is it, celebrity, they fail to realize exactly who was the one that was there when you needed someone to back you. But that is for another story. But again, Smash Bros. Radio, the only award-winning digital radio station in Birmingham, Jefferson County. So, whether we wish to face the fact or not, it is here. It is alive. It is just part of us. So we have two Americas. You have a black America and you have a white America. And because of those differences between, you're going to have varying opinions, viewpoints, perceptions, perspectives. When it comes to the symbolic items, such as a flag, such as the national anthem, white America looks at those symbols in one way, whereas the black America looks at them in another way. That flag, to some, does not actually represent freedom, but is a facade, is a lie, because it is not freedom for everyone. The national anthem is a racist anthem. And whether we wish to accept the fact or not, it is what it is. We have got to get to the point to where we are more conscientious, that we are more active, proactive when it comes to certain activities, when it comes to certain opinions, when it comes to certain occasions. We are so familiar with it that we don't take in consideration that it's actually there. Like, an example was when I think EJ was murdered out at the Galleria over at the plantation Hoover. The vicious, the malice, the venomous comments that were generated from the white populace, and especially from the white students. I wasn't surprised. I was somewhat taken back of the venom that was said openly, and most of those came from the white females. So it should not be surprised. We have several examples of throughout the years. You have an idealistic opinion and you have a realist opinion. Earlier you had Booker T. Washington versus Du Bois. One thought that, and one preached for janitors and cooks and stuff. The other one said, forget that. How come we can't be doctors and lawyers and scientists and So you had those varying opinions back then. Then you bring it up to the latter day, and then you have Dr. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, an idealist and a realist. There is a thought pattern that we hope that that society is a certain way, that we do not rock the boat, that we do not cause waves. We try not to offend anyone, and especially a certain group. Whereas you have a realist that understands that you can try all that you want to, but those individuals are going to be offended anyway. It doesn't matter. They're going to be offended. And so no matter what you do, they're going to be offended. So you might as well live in your truth and stand in your truth. So no matter what the black community does, it is always going to offend the white community. I don't understand the rationale in that. We have, like I've stated previously numerous times, we have got to get to the point to where we stop thinking as race as being black and white. There's only one race, and that is a human race. There's only one race, and that is a human race. There's only one race, and that is the human race. And as in every family, as in any category, underneath that, you're going to have subs. And when it then because of social economic levels or because of experiences, that's going to change somewhat. But when it comes to social economic levels, the rich are going to think like the rich, the poor is going to think like the poor, the middle class is going to have the same mentality. So the sooner that we accept the fact, the better that we are going to be. The sooner that we tackle everything and let the individuals know that this is unacceptable, this is not going to be accepted, nor are we going to sugarcoat anything. We're going to call you out, we're going to point you out, and we're going to set you on your way. There was a movie, I think, Jumping the Broom, that had an impact. There was the gathering of the two families. You had the upper middle class, the upper middle class, and then you had the lower of the middle class. It was mentioned that about slaves, because jumping the broom was symbolic of the slaves being married, and the mother of the mother of the groom, it was a tradition in their family to jump over the broom, whereas the mother of the bride was bougie, and she stated that that her family owned slaves, which shocked a lot of people. But history has dictated that it's actual fact that there were some blacks that, first of all, that were never slaves. The ancestors were never slaves, and their families owned slaves. So it's shocking. It is even more shocking to where when you have a group that, because of a horrendous event in their lineage, that they want to always play the victim. Now, I am not taking anything away from that event, the Holocaust. I am not taking anything away from it. I taught it. I attended seminars. I understand the atrocities that were performed. For you to continue to claim that it was the most dramatic experience in history, well, you need to take a step back and re-examine, because the most traumatic event was the slaves being transported from the ships, and the events and the experiences that they had to go through when crossing the waters. And it is still being prevalent today that the same mentality that was back then is still now. So for individual groups to have this haughty, to have this pompous, to have this arrogant type peacock attitude, it is really disheartening. And for them to always play the victim, I think is overbearing. Sometimes you can use it to the point to where you lose the actual the actual uh, uh, weight of the situation. Uh, just because uh, there is integration, there is more freedom per se, that you don't have to go to the back door, that you can go to the front door, you can shop anywhere you want to. There are still establishments in which individuals are still being followed. There's still situations and uh, going on to where individuals are still being treated as second class citizens. It is even more atrocious and disheartening when you see, even in the profession, such as the doctors and the lawyers, that you see this disparity between the blacks and the whites. There should never be a disparity. There should never be a gulf or division when it comes to being doctors, when it comes to being teachers, when it comes to being professionals. But here in 2023, and you have this backwards, ignorant type opinion to where you can still have a degree. You can have that degree from, you could be an alumni from an Ivy League school and still be looked down upon because you're black. And that's one thing that was most pivotal when the families were eating, because the mother of the groom had to say, "You're black, you're black, you're black," and we have to get to the point to where we understand that no matter what you do, no matter where you go, no matter how much money you make, no matter whether you wear a suit or not, you are still being perceived as black. So there's still going to be a stigma on the black community because of that ignorant, backwards way of thinking. And yes, it's just because you are allowed, because that's exactly what it is, you being allowed to join these organizations or to be a part of this group of these bleach blonde, blue-eyed individuals, and you claim that they are your friends, yet you have not talked to them, nor have you had any type of discussions about their religious opinions, their political opinions, because at the end of the day, when the kitchen gets hot, those same individuals that were in your face are going to be the same individuals that's going to turn their backs on you because you're black. And they don't want the heat from the other white folks. When EJ was murdered, it came out that some of the racist type comments that were made in high school, some of the parents weren't even aware that their children were being mentally and verbally abused. They was totally surprised. See, black historians will tell you and have stated numerous times, it wasn't that the black community wanted to be integrated into or with the white community. The black community wanted equity, wanted equality, wanted the same funding, wanted the same materials, wanted the same books, new books, not torn old books that would have been thrown away or burned, or hand-me-downs. And if you were to really do research, and you can because of the search engines that are now prevalent now, you can find that the majority of the cities that were burned and the residents were murdered and killed and raped, it was because of petty jealousy from the white community. Because the black community had better. They had pianos. They had china. Them black folks weren't even studying them white folks. They were happy with their own. Now, it kind of makes me saddened because when I was in school, integration allowed us to socialize to the point to where we had an understanding of each other. So I would hate to think that if there was still segregation, would there be an understanding, or would there be some type of camaraderie or rapport between the two groups? So it's kind of disheartening. It is disheartening when you are realistic to know that there are two Americas, a black America and a white America. It is really disheartening and kind of sickening when you actually think about it. And I don't know how to deal with it. I don't know what I can do to better or empower we have to get to the point to where we take our heads out of the sand and realize that things haven't changed. It was hidden. And what are we going to do about it? Research and books have been written to where we know exactly the group that is the backbone, that is the bloodline, that is the root of white supremacy and white racism, or racism, and that is the white female. The white female is the only group that is most protected and guarded out of any group. And going on TikTok and looking and seeing all these meltdowns from these white women because the black female creators have started the support group, this train that provides an outlet for the black creators. And these white women are going berserk because, oh my God, we can't be a part of it. You're white. You don't have to be a part of anything or everything. So see, we have this entitled mentality that, well, I'm white, so I can belong to any organization that I want to, and you can. But we don't want you. This is because you don't have the same experience that I have. And even when the women's the feminine movement was started, there was a gulf between the two groups because you had the white women, and then you had the black women. Yes, they are the same gender, they are female, but when it came down to the perspective, the opinions, there were two different sides. There were two different goals. And it was still prevalent with the election now because the white women voted against their own. The white women voted for those individuals that were pro life. So you voted against your interests. So see, you can't say that you don't believe the same thing that I believe, because you have not experienced the same thing that I have. Now you pretty much are getting an understanding to where, because this is a black organization for black female creators to be used as a support group, to be used as a way of getting everybody together. When all of a sudden you find out that you can't be a part, you break down. Well, there's been organizations to which black females were denied, but you didn't see the black females breaking down and having these mental breakdowns, because they're familiar with being neglected or being denied, being rejected. White folks aren't used to being rejected. White folks are not used to or familiar with being denied. And I don't want to hear, well, okay, fine and good. As in everything, and we're generalizing everything. There are going to be some times that you're denied, but in 98.9% of the times, you're not going to be. You're going to be accepted. And you're not going to be treated any different. You're not going to go through the same experience. And then to add injury to whatever, just because you talk prim and proper or talk correct English, whatever that is. Oh, you're trying to be white, or you talking white. I don't understand that, because people say that I talk black. I don't know. When they don't know that I'm white or high yellow at dusk or whatever, they say that, well, you sound black. But the sooner that we understand that there are two Americas, two varying opinions, two different experiences that are still going on, that went on during the 50s and 60s, and then to add injury you have inside the black community, you have those individuals that have forgotten where they came from. But at the end of the day, you black. You can be the best. You can be the master of your craft. But at the end of the day, you black. And it comes down to, and if you want a reason for it, and this I don't understand the reason. It has to be because of jealousy. White communities of whites are jealous of the blacks, and you wonder why. I don't know. Don't know. I wish I knew, but I don't know. You have individuals, you have black soldiers that have fought for their country, and then they return, and the day after they have returned, they're shot and murdered because they're black. They would have the uniform on, but they would still be looked as black. You would have even as liberal as what California is or perpetrates, you still have this mentality. And it goes back to who is in charge of the studios, who are in charge of the record companies. Because see, you have this racist mentality, and we have to quit using or interlocking or interchanging the words prejudice and racist or racism. I'm prejudiced. I don't like Dodge trucks. I don't like certain colors. I'm prejudiced. When it comes to an individual's culture, and you're against that culture because of that culture, you're racist. but we don't want to use the word racist or racism because it has more of a impact. It hurts. It knocks away. Oh, you call me a racist, but I have black friends. Mother, get away from me. And there's a misunderstanding that you can still be a racist and have black friends, which you don't have black friends. You don't even know what having a black friend is all about. You can be a racist and your boyfriend or your girlfriend is black. And we understand that if you're a white female, we understand the myth of why you want this black male. It's a myth. And I can speak from experience because well, let's just say that I ain't small. But that's the myth that you have this exotic individual. And that's the first thing that we see when we see a white female with a black male. We automatically, that's what we speculate. Oh, you right. Oh, he wearing your ass out, baby. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He's turned you out. Because that's that's what we think. You can still be a racist and have mixed children. Surprise! Which is really frightening. You have a mixed child. You have an interracial child, and you're a racist. And we have got to quit interchanging the words prejudice and racist. All of us are prejudiced. Every one of us are prejudiced. Now, I don't have to tell you that I'm not a racist. Because 9 times out of 10, if I told you that, you're going to think whatever you want to. My actions, my deeds, my words are going to prove whatever. I've never told anybody I wasn't a racist. Never. I didn't feel that I had to. The way that I am, I've always been. I haven't changed. I'm getting worse, which is really frightening. I'm getting to the point now to where I don't care. And friends would tell you, well, Humes, you've never cared. And I haven't. I've never, I don't like humans. I don't. I don't like humans. I think most of the humans should die and go to hell. I'm universal. I don't care. You can be a Jew. You can be a Christian. You can be a Muslim. You can be black. You can be white. I don't like everybody. And you can't say that I'm anti-Semitic. You can't say that. You will use that because that word itself, we have empowered it. We have given it so much power that it don't scare me. The word don't scare me. Because if the truth be known, and if you did your research, the Anti-Defamation League was created on lies, by lies, for lies. 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 And it's just a way of individuals trying to keep their control when they know they haven't any control. And yes, I know I taught the Holocaust. I made my kids sit through the movies of the Holocaust. At the same time, there were more groups in the Holocaust than just the Jews. And if we were to do research, we would find out that the majority of the owners or the CEOs or whatever of the studios and of the music industry are Jews. Same way when you go to New York and you buy gems, when you buy diamonds. The group that holds the most power are the Jews. But yet the Jews will not tell you that inside themselves they have prejudice against their own because of history between the two groups. And then for the Jews to claim that they're so righteous or self-righteous, how come we're not talking about the Palestinians? But yet when I support the Palestinians, the first thing you use anti-Semitic. I am not anti-Semitic. I'm anti-murder, rape, hatred, lies. And if anybody wants to know the history of the Holy Land, every time the United States has put its nose in an event or an issue, the most havoc has started. Because if the truth is to be known, the Palestinians own the land in which the Israeli government is trying to take over. The Palestinians compromised and gave, but then the Jews got angry and got hungry and got greedy and wanted to take over the entire land. But yet, we're giving billions of dollars to the Israeli government, and we're not saying anything about the murders, about the rapes, about the beatings, of the atrocities that is being perpetrated by the Israeli government. We're not even talking about the speeches and the opinions of some of these high rabbis that are racist. So see, it's not okay to talk or to bring to light the lies and the activities of the Jews, but it's okay that you can flip the script and talk about the blacks. You want to use propaganda, black on black crime. That's propaganda. We don't talk about white on white crime. And then all of a sudden now you have these actions being taken against the Jews, being taken against the Asians, and all of a sudden it becomes an issue. But when it's the same activities that is being perpetrated on the black community, no one says anything. Two Americas. Same thing when it comes to the drugs. There wasn't a drug epidemic or a pandemic or whatever when it only affected the black community, but then all of a sudden when the drugs started going on being more prevalent in the white community, then there's a problem. Then there's mental illness. Same thing when it comes to the abortions. There wasn't a problem when majority of the abortions were performed on blacks and browns. But then all of a sudden when the whites, females all of a sudden started having these abortions, then there's an issue. Same thing when it comes to the Second Amendment, bearing arms. There was a problem when the Black Panthers had it, but the Black Panthers and also the what is it? Let me get this right. The Crips and the Bloods were saving and protecting their communities. Then there was a problem. Then you had the bombing. A bombing. But now there's an issue because now it's affecting the whites. Two Americas. Two Americas. Doesn't matter if you wear a suit or if you wear sweats or if you wear your pants below your knees or below under your ass. It doesn't matter. White communities are going to look at you as being black. Nothing more. They don't care about how much money you have. They don't care about what homes you live in. They don't care about what schools you went to. You're black. You can have more than enough. And then poor white folks are still going to hate you because you're black. There was an incident at Lowe's. A delivery guy with Lowe's was to make a delivery. An old ass white woman said that she didn't want any black in her home. She called them back, and three managers lost their jobs because they called the black delivery guy back and sent a white delivery. And the white delivery guy had enough of a constitution and a conscience that he wouldn't fulfill the delivery. Two Americas. You have two experiences. And then two, when you're working in, you're going to outlaw a certain hairstyle. Because you say it's unprofessional. Who dictates what is unprofessional? See, it still goes back. You know, Spike Lee is renowned for having these movies that bring these type of varying opinions inside the black community. Because the black community is at fault too. School Days is a prime example. You had those females who were light bright, damn near white with the good hair, and then you had the other side who had the natural, who was darker. And there was a conflict. I think good hair is just having hair, period. But we are so familiar with it, and it is so intertwined, and it is so woven together as one huge tapestry, one huge web, that everything is connected, that we don't say anything because we don't want to offend anybody. People, it's time to offend. It is time to step on toes. And if stepping on toes won't do it, you stomp the toes. You take back the power. I keep telling you, over the mountain, Hoover's a prime example. And I call Hoover the plantation. Anybody who knows me knows that Hoover's a plantation to me. Vestavia is the old lady, the old woman, the bitch, or whatever. Then you have Mountain Brook and Homewood, which I call the twins. But you have Hoover, which is the plantation. You can close Hoover down by not shopping, by not patronizing the businesses for 6 months. It would take really 3 months. But let's really crumble them. Let's take 6 months. 6 months, do not shop over in Hoover. Because the revenue that is generated from the taxes, the sales tax, is funding the maintenance of that city. That's why you have property tax and you have commercial tax. Take the money back. Don't shop. I love Carlos. I love Carlos. Carlos is in your face. Carlos is real. I love Carlos. And if we would gather together our finances, the Civil Rights Institute wouldn't have to be needed. I wouldn't have to rely on these individuals who really don't want the actual principle or the standards that was created. There was a huge controversy when the meetings of creating the Civil Rights Institute. There was a huge battle. Huge battle. They wanted Reverend Fred Shuttlesworth statues put someplace else. He wouldn't allow it. He wanted to be in a prominent place because they didn't want to offend anybody. And then a prime example when Dr. Angela Davis was awarded the Freedom Award, this Reverend Fred Shuttlesworth Award. You had the Jews coming out in such a disgust because they claimed that she was anti-Semitic. She's not anti-Semitic. She just spoke up for the Palestinians. And then the Board of Trustees, had the audacity to fall under the demands of these Jews and tried to take the award away from her. And that is the first time, if I'm wrong, please let me know, that is the first time that the black community stood up and said, oh, hell no, not today. And the Jews fell back. So the black community is not only having to worry about if there's any type of worry from the white community, but you have to worry about these damn Jews. But how do you start? You start by having these discussions that you don't want to have. You start with your groups of friends. And if they support Trump, then you know not to have anything to do with them. I don't care if they were in your wedding. I don't care if you slept with them. I don't care if you spent the night with them. I don't care if you went over to the house or if you were down low with. I don't care if they support Trump and support the Republican Party. They're not in your interest. They're lying to you. It's time to offend people. It is time to rock the boat to cause waves. Because you're doing an injustice to your children. You gave the power, take the power away. Two Americas, two perspectives, two experiences. Yes, we are same gender. I'm a male. I don't know what it's like to be a black male. I don't, personally speaking, I couldn't handle being a black male. Couldn't handle it. I'm not strong enough. I don't have that much confidence. Don't have it. So we may be of the same gender. We may be humans. But our experiences are totally different. And we have to accept the fact and come together and stop being scared to have these discussions, because to create solutions, to create and start having healing, we're going to have to face it raw. And we're going to have to do a lot of crying. And we're going to have to face the fact that we were fucked up when we did certain things, and we have to rectify it. See, one thing about me, if I've done something wrong and I'm brought up and I've told, and you have documentation, you have receipts, I have no problem coming on and publicly saying that I am sorry, I made this mistake. And it won't happen again. And that's what we have to get. That's what we have to get. Two Americas. Black America, white America. We have the same gender. We're humans. But our experiences are not the same. Our perspectives are not the same. Our opinions are not the same. And it's time for change. And it starts with us. Starts with us. Again, prayers and hugs go out to everyone that was affected. We pray that Darman recovers completely. We ask that God sends comfort to the family. So, but again, if you have not done so, please like, follow, share, subscribe to Smash Bros Radio, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. As you can find me on every social media. You can find me on TikTok, OZZz1960. You can find me on Instagram, _show. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on TikTok as OZZz, OZZz, and also YouTube. But I appreciate you. If you have not done so, please download our app. You can find the link on my page. I appreciate y'all. Y'all be careful out there. It's supposed to storm around 11 o'clock. You know, to know your worth, to know your value, to know that you are the one that creates anything that you want. Stop listening to these naysayers. Do you? And most importantly, always remember that I love you more than I love my luggage. I will see y'all tomorrow. Y'all take care. The live stream on the show. On the show. The live stream. live stream. The live stream on the show.